Hello. Is this phone number by any chance Henry's wife's number? You go by Sandy, right? Hello? Do you have any idea what's happened with Henry? As far as I'm aware, Henry went to a class reunion for one of his classes back in middle school, right? So he's gone back to his hometown for it. Well, I happen to be one of his longtime friends and was in the same class as him in middle school. You can call me Emily. It's a really cute name, right? Your name is Emily? Well, I guess it's cute. But to be honest with you, I know hundreds of Emilys, and I'm not really sure the name itself is that cute. What a buzzkill! So, Emily, when are you going to get on with telling me why you're wanting to talk with me right now? Huh? I'm going to assume that you are talking to me right now because you took my phone number from his phone and copied it into yours? I happen to know Henry pretty well, and I'm sure he wouldn't just be handing out my information to you and ask you to text me. So can you please just tell me why you want to talk? For some reason, I'm getting a bad vibe from you. Well, whatever. I'll tell you what I want from you right now then. And it's nothing that I really want from you, but rather what I want to tell you about me. I've gone and taken your husband home from the class reunion. Huh? What are you going on about? You have no idea. In other words, I'm having a little after party with him in this hotel room. That's all. Huh? Listen to this. At first, I was looking to take a completely different man away from that reunion to make my lover, you know? But that dick was with another old fart of a woman, and when I came over to talk to him, she began to bark in my face. Ugh. At that point, I was about to give up and thought me going to that reunion was going to be completely pointless. But as I was thinking that, I turned to see my old friend Henry. All that nasty skin he had on his face before, covered in all these little red pimples, had cleared right up and he was looking sexy. And as for those stupid little round glasses that he was wearing before, they'd been replaced by a stylish pair of brown J-bands. And his choice of clothing? Oh, perfect. Totally stylish. I knew this would be my only chance to see him, and so I made him my new target and started my hunt. And within a few hours, I had him in my grasp coming to this hotel with me. And during that time, did you know about the fact that Henry is married? I knew that, and I learned about it while bringing him to the hotel room. Actually, I've known about the fact that he's been married for a while now, as I still talk to his parents every so often. Anyway, I haven't seen Henry in over 7 years because he and I are just never around one another. And anytime I'm talking to his mom or dad, he's not in town. So you've done all of this while knowing he's married? I really wanted him to be with me, so I had no other choice. When I told him that he's my first love, he began to cry about how much he wanted to treat me nicely and hugged me as we walked to the hotel. And why are you telling me all of this now? Knowing very well that I'm his wife and that I have been married to him for a while now. You know why I'm telling you about this. There's only one thing I'd want, and that's for you and Henry to get a divorce. And then you can hand him over to me so that I can have him forever. You want me to give him to you? You already stole him from me. How could I hand something over to you, or someone, when you've already gone and stole them from me? I just told you, though. He's always loved me, and even though I told him he's my first love, he came out and said he had this huge crush on me back in school. In other words, that means he and I are meant for one another. And that also means that he's always been mine, so I didn't steal him from you. Now that we've run into one another again, and I'm with him now, I'd like you to give him back. So hurry up and get that divorce so I can have him. I guess if he's always had that crush on you, then he was never mine to begin with. So I get what you're wanting to say here. Now, I never really knew about how he looked back in the day, but these days Henry is doing pretty good for himself. He happens to work for a very large company that is partners with other companies all over the globe. I'm sure you already knew about that, though, as well. And about how he's expected to be bringing in around $100,000 a year now with his job? Well, of course, all of that only adds to how amazing he is. And that's why I'm in love with him. And he's in love with me because I'm cute and precious to him. No mistaking that. So, that means he has no need for you anymore. As long as you go through with a divorce, then everything about him will come to me, and I can finally have my man. So hurry it up and get that divorce, please. I'll give you an answer to that after I've had a conversation with Henry about all of this. He said he'd be coming home tomorrow, so I'll sit him down and have a talk with him. Please let him know that, since you're actually right there with him. Will do. But I already know that Henry wants this divorce, so no matter what you try to do, he's going to leave. Henry, right about now you should be back home from your hometown, right? Where are you?
I'm at Emily's apartment.
Is that right? So it's true then? That you ended up running into your old friend from middle school that you always had a crush on and she took you to a hotel last night?
I'm sorry.
So I can take this as you saying you want to get a divorce then?
Yeah.
You have anything else to say to me? Anything at all?
Well, when it comes to you, Sandy, you really are an amazing woman. You say that you can do anything and everything on your own, and that's no lie. You really are able to do everything. So, for myself, well, you happen to support me with both my work and with my private life equally. I'm totally thankful that you've always been there for me helping out, and I want you to know that, but when it comes to the person who knows me best and knows how to please me the most, I'd have to say it's Emily. Also, when it came to her, she's always been in love with me ever since middle school. And she just confessed that to me yesterday at the class reunion.
I see. So the reason you and her ended up being in that hotel room yesterday and why you're over at her apartment now is because you both have liked each other since middle school?
So, I want you to know that whether it was back in middle school or even now, I've always been thinking about Emily and have always wanted her to be my wife.
All right, I understand. But just because of that reasoning, I don't think we can get a divorce.
Why not?
Even if you and her ended up having a wonderful night with one another, this is a good example of you being unfaithful to me. So I can't just have this settled with a simple divorce. I'm going to make sure I have you and her pay your dues to me through settlements for this, and I'd like to tell both my parents about this and yours.
Well, actually, I was planning on doing the same thing.
One other thing. Since the both of us are working for the same company in the same office, I'm going to have to report what's happened to us to my manager. And I think you should be doing the same then.
Ah, that's right.
I think that you should be prepared to have a lot of people giving you the side eye and things like that after they hear about what you've done.
I guess there's no helping any of that, is there? All right.
Now I'm going to get myself a lawyer and we will sit down and discuss what needs to be done and go through all the paperwork. Once I've had time to talk with my lawyer about all of this and about the money that I can get from both you and Emily, then I'll go ahead and contact you again. Along with that, I'll hand in the divorce paperwork to the courthouse.
All right.
Sandy, thank you so much for getting that divorce with Henry. And by the way, I only just found out about this a little bit ago, but you happen to be 6 years older than Henry, and you work in a higher position than him with that company? That's right. I first met him when he joined the company as I was in charge of training him, and after some time we grew closer to one another and got married. Well then, you're aware that he's in a much better place now being with someone like me rather than with some old fart like you. And as for yourself, now that you've been divorced by a younger man, that pretty much means that that's it for you, and you'll never be with another man again, right? But don't worry, I'll make sure that Henry is very happy with me and that you are kept up to date on that. Just to make sure you don't get super jealous of us, all right? I'm not going to mind you sending me a text about how you feel as though you've come out on top over me. But shouldn't you be a bit more concerned about what's been going on with him? Huh? Oh, no way. Are you going to try and say to me that you know more about Henry than his longtime friend does? Well, I'm sorry, Sandy. I just got home from handing in our marriage papers to the courthouse with him, so this pretty much means game over for you. You've barely even been around him recently, and you're already jumping to marriage? You both haven't seen one another for 7 years, and you thought it was all right to just marry him like that? Are you both going to be okay? I feel like you two should have at least taken a bit more time to get to know one another again. Come on now. You're not going to ever get him back from me, so stop holding on to these feelings. Your time is up, you old fart. He's thrown you away for a much more cute and young girl, and he'd never turn around and go back to you. Hello? What do you want now? What the hell is going on here? What do you mean by here? I'm talking about Henry. What is all of this? Why the hell is this happening? Can you explain what's going on there in a little more detail? Why is he sleeping in so much? His alarm had gone off 4 times before he finally got up and started getting ready for work. And he didn't even bother to wash his face or shave. His hair is still a mess from the pillow, and he's just going to head to work like that? Also, why the hell is he farting so much all the dang time? And when it comes to his work clothes, he just takes them off and leaves them on the floor. Same thing goes for his dishes. He doesn't even bother to turn off the lights either when he leaves a room. And after using the bathroom, he doesn't flush the toilet. And what's worse than any of this? He doesn't even have a good sense of fashion. What the hell happened to the man I saw at the middle school reunion a while ago? Oh no, this is all happening a lot quicker than I was expecting. Huh? What do you mean? He already had problems when in the house with me, never having manners that you'd think an adult his age should have. But at work, he tends to be just as bad, never wearing proper clothing for the job and always farting really loudly in his cubicle. I'm going to assume that he never took his clothing chart with him over to your place? Or that he isn't even bothering to look at it anymore now that he's with you? His clothing chart? It's this whole grid that tells him what shirts go with what pants and about what ties to wear and what jackets. What? Was that all written down inside that sketchbook he had brought along with him to my place? That's the one. I'm sure you already know about how much of a slob he is when it comes to his manners, since you've known him far longer than I have. But he's especially bad when it comes to his sense of fashion, and that's why we had a chart made up for him. I made this whole chart for him that would tell him what clothes to go with what and what days to wear that set on. What? So then, that means that the man I saw at the reunion... You always said it like he had done that by himself, but in reality, I was the one that got him dressed up like that and made him look more appealing. What the hell? You are more than welcome to use that chart with him to maintain a good look on him that otherwise he will never create by himself alone. But I threw it away! Really? Anything that I thought had to do with you, I threw in the trash can outside. And that includes the clothing chart you made for him, along with some of the clothing I thought you bought for him. All right then, so you're saying that you no longer have any of the things that helped him look as good as he once did? Sandy, please, can you please get Henry back to the handsome-looking man he was before he came over to my apartment? Well, that happens to be your job now, since you are his wife and all. As you had told me before, you happen to know him way better than I do, having been around him since middle school, and so I'm sure you'd be far better at helping him out than I am. Right? Well, about that. Can I at least have you buy him a few more sets of clothing and make up another clothing chart? That's not going to happen. Why not? I am not going to take care of the man who ran off with another girl who asked me to divorce him after. I'm no longer related to anything that has to do with him, but I know someone who is, and that's you, Emily. And another thing, 2 weeks ago I made the choice to transfer. Transfer? Recently I was promoted from department manager into a regional manager, and so I have a change of responsibilities now. So, you were moved to a different location? Yep, I'm very thankful for that as well. Thankful for the divorce, I mean. Because I no longer had to be married to Henry, I was free to do as I pleased, which includes moving to another town. What? So because I'm no longer working in the same office building, I've moved out of that town and am about 2.5-hour drive away. And because I'm now a regional manager, I have even less time to worry about what's going on in the lives of two strangers. No way. The way Henry is right now, if he doesn't change, I'm not going to be happy. Well, if that's the case, then he might need his new wife to start working on some strategies that'll help him get back to the man she loved him as. Good luck with that. A few days after that, due to no longer having me around to support his bad habits, Henry started to have a lot of problems with HR at work due to his poor style and manners. And only a few days after he had been talked to by HR, he and Emily got a divorce. Apparently, the only way the divorce worked out was because Emily had to force him into signing the papers, after he had cried and cried about how he couldn't live without her. Due to the reality that the girl he had always loved since middle school turned her back on him and kicked him out of her life, only a little bit after getting married, Henry has gotten very depressed. And because of this, he never left his place and soon lost his job. When it comes to Emily, she wasn't working at the time she took Henry from me, and so after kicking him out, she no longer had the money to pay her rent, and ran back home to her parents looking for help. But they both told her to get out of their faces as they had disowned her not too long ago. She was last seen running away from her hometown for good, and ever since then, nobody has heard a thing about her. Hello, Melissa. Long time no see. You're already 26 years old already, right? It's already been 15 years since I last saw you, huh? Time really flies fast. Who is this? What? I don't remember sharing my contact information with anyone recently, so I don't even know who you are. Could you please introduce yourself first? Oh my! You don't recognize me! It's me, Santina! Huh? Your mother, Santina! Oh, so that's what you meant when you said it's already been 15 years. How did you get my contact information? I got it from a classmate of yours. It was really difficult finding someone that knew your contact information, you know. I went through so much trouble. So, once we meet again, I want you to repay me for my troubles. Huh? What do you mean, once we meet again? Are you actually being serious right now? I don't remember ever telling you that I wanted to meet you again. My, you watch your language, Melissa. But I'm going to let you in on a secret. I know that you and your husband built a new house that would fit 2 families, since you were planning on inviting me to live with you. Huh? Did you hit your head or something? Where did you hear that nonsense? You just got married recently and you're going to be moving into this new house of yours, right? To think that you didn't even tell your mother that you were getting married. What's your problem, Melissa? If you're thankful that I gave birth to you, then let me live with you in your new house. I know what you're up to, Melissa. You were planning on inviting me to live with you in your new house as soon as possible. But you didn't know where I was and how to contact me, so you were a bit worried, right? I was kind enough to come to you myself, so prepare a room for me, all right? Well, it seems like you haven't changed, Mother. You still only think about yourself, just like you always did. Why in the world do you think that we'd let you live with us? You're the last person I would want to live with, Mother. What? Why are you being so cold to me, Melissa? Don't tell me you're still mad about what happened 15 years ago, are you? I really did feel bad for you, but it's not like I just decided who I fall in love with. Seriously? Do you think that I'm going to believe that nonsense of yours? I might have believed it if you had ever showed me even a bit of motherly love, but no, you never did. Or maybe if you had came to see me even once after you left, but you never did that either. Didn't you once tell me that I was just an accident and that you only married Dad because you had no one else you could rely on to help support the baby? Yeah, no thanks. We don't want you here. Jesus, either you're delusional or seriously just that selfish if you really thought that I'd let you live with me after all these years. Oh my, I didn't know you grew up to become such a rude woman, Melissa. You sound just like your father, always making it seem like it's me who's the problem. Besides, your mother lives in the province and tends to the fields that has belonged to her family for generations, right? I heard that a few years ago her adopted child passed away, and so she also needs to stay there in her hometown because no one else will watch over his grave. Where in the world did you get this information? You see, one of my ex-boyfriends was a private detective. I did him a favor, if you know what I mean. And in return, I asked him to do a bit of investigation for me. Looks like that part of you hasn't changed as well, Santina. You're still as free with men as when you left me and Dad. Yeah, say whatever you want. I'm not going to force myself to be miserable because society says you can only have one partner. I never believed in that bullshit. Anyway, your mother-in-law can't leave her hometown, but yet you built a house large enough to house 3 generations of a family. That must mean that you were going to invite me to live with you, right? Besides, it's only natural that the parents live with their children. Now that you're married, you're probably a lot more financially stable now, meaning that you have a duty to let me live with you. Could you please stop making so many assumptions? All of what you just said is wrong. I don't even consider you as my own mother. Don't come to us no matter what. But I'm already at your front door. Mother-in-law, I'm sorry, but there is something urgent I have to tell you right now. Oh, hi, Melissa. What in the world happened to cause you to panic like this? I thought you and Luis were on your way home from your honeymoon. You said that you turned in your marriage papers at the city hall at your destination. Was there a problem? No, it's not that. There was nothing wrong with the marriage papers. Yes, just a few minutes ago, I got a text from my mother, Santina. Your mother, Santina? You mean the one who left you and your father 15 years ago and you haven't talked to ever since? Yes. Apparently, she hired a private detective and did some investigation on us. She knows that we built a house for 3 generations of a family and she intends to move in with us. She says she's already at the front door. What? Hold on, let me check. Jesus, there really is a woman at the front door. To think that something like this would happen on our first day as a married couple. We built that 3-generation house for you and your husband to live with us, not for her. I was sure that I would never see her again. I'm truly sorry for my mother's actions. Don't apologize for your mother's actions. It's not your fault that she's a selfish narcissist. All right. Why don't you first send me screenshots of these texts your mother sent you? I understand. Oh, and please tell your mother that she's welcome to live with you, but don't tell her my name. What? Mother-in-law, are you seriously going to let her live with us? She's going to cause us a whole load of trouble if we let her do that. It's all right. I don't actually intend on letting her live with us. I just have a plan. Just let me handle your mother. You guys don't worry about it and just come home safely. All right. Be careful as well, mother-in-law. Who knows what she might do to you?
About you moving in with us. I talked with my family about your request, and they said that there was something they wanted me to tell you.
Oh, what is it?
Of course you can live with us, they said.
What? Really? And here I was expecting that I would meet a little more resistance.
So you admit that you thought you weren't going to be welcome here? All right, then I told you what they wanted me to say, so goodbye.
Yeah, say whatever you want. It doesn't matter now that they're going to let me live here. Just let me in the house already, will you? To think that you would text me just to tell me I was welcome to live with you after all the terrible things you said to me. I guess children always come back to their mothers no matter how old they get.
Hey, Santina. It's been 8 years since we had our reunion, right? We exchanged contact information then, and I kept it for some reason, but to think that it would become useful at a time like this.
Huh?
You don't recognize me? It's me, Caligera.
What? Caligera? Long time no see, ma'am.
Don't call me that. I'm not a fucking gang leader anymore. So, do you know why I'm texting you right now?
Huh? How should I know? Would you like to tell me?
It looks like you're at the front door of my house for some reason. I can see you from the window.
Huh? But the house I'm in front of right now belongs to my daughter and her husband. You see, they said they were going to let me move in with them today. How do you know I'm at someone's front door?
You don't understand. This house was made to fit 3 generations because me and my husband are going to be living here with our son and daughter.
What? Hold on. Could it be that Melissa's mother-in-law is...
Yes, it's me.
What? Seriously? But I heard that Melissa's mother-in-law couldn't leave the province because she had to tend the fields that has belonged to her family for generations, and also had to watch over her adopted son's grave.
Oh, you said something like that to Melissa as well, right? I had Melissa send me screenshots of the texts you sent her, you see? You've been misinformed, Santina. This ex-boyfriend / private detective of yours did a lousy job.
What? He didn't do his job properly? And to think that I had done him a favor.
Please, I don't want to hear any of that shit. Oh, and it's not me who's currently in our hometown tending the fields and watching over my son's grave. It's my former sister's. Oh, and just so you do understand, that's not my son's grave in the first place.
Huh? Oh, wait, what do you mean your former sister?
You see, I moved out to that countryside when I was younger when my mom got married to a man there. But they always treated me like an outsider, and I was never really comfortable with the region's customs. I was an outcast there, and so when my mom got divorced with this man, I returned to the city. After that, you know what happened. I went to that rotten high school of ours, and I became the leader of the school gang, which you were also a part of.
Don't remind me of that, but I don't understand. You said that you were an outcast back in the province, but you suddenly came to a high school in the city and became a gang leader? What was with the sudden change of character?
I don't know. Maybe I just got sick of people looking down on me and wanted respect. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm ashamed of what I did as a teenager now that I've grown up. You see, after I graduated, I decided to disinvolve myself from the gang and get an honest job. I got married and had children, and now one of those children just got married. I'm going to be living with them in this new house of theirs, but I already told you that.
This is completely different to what my ex-boyfriend told me.
Yeah, but that just means he didn't do his job properly.
Nice private detective you got there, hun.
So what do you want to do?
What?
You want to live with us, don't you? That's what you told Melissa, right? I'm the one who had Melissa tell you that you were welcome to live with us.
What? You're really just going to let me move in with you like this?
Of course. Oh, and you're not going to move in with me, but with Melissa and her husband. It's their house, not mine. If you do move in, though, your room is going to be in me and my husband's side of the house. As a parent of the married couple, of course. You see, I'm the one who's going to pay for the loan that they needed to take to have this house built.
Really? But I thought you said it was their house.
It is. I just said I was going to pay for it. You see, I'm the one who suggested that me and my husband live with the two of them. So this is my way of paying them back for agreeing. You won't believe it, but I actually run my own business, so I earn enough money to easily pass the loan screening. If you want to live with your daughter, then surely you're going to have to accept the same conditions as I did, right?
What do you mean by the same conditions?
I mean that if you're going to live here, then you're going to have to pay for the loan with me.
What?
I mean, it's not like I don't have the money, but it's still really helpful if somebody just appears out of nowhere and pays for half of it, you know?
That's impossible, I'm afraid.
Impossible? What, did you intend on just living here for free?
I don't have a job, you see. I couldn't help pay off your loan even if I wanted to.
What?
That's why I was planning on moving in with my daughter and her husband and have them provide for me instead.
You're joking, right, Santina? Don't tell me that you were just trying to leech off your child, were you? As her mother, that is simply just too embarrassing, even for someone like you. Not only that, but you just appear out of nowhere for the first time in 15 years after abandoning her and her father? Surely you must have been joking, right, Santina?
Actually,
Yes, you were clearly joking, right?
Yes, I was just joking.
I knew you were just joking. Seriously, you're hilarious, Santina. I mean, what kind of degenerate would attempt to leech off her daughter that she abandoned after 15 years of ignoring her? All right, good conversation. Why are you still at our front door? Is there something else you wanted to tell me?
But my daughter said that I was welcome.
No, I said that. You're welcome if you're going to pay for the loan just like I am. But you said yourself that that was impossible, so I'm afraid you're not welcome anymore. Oh, and if you do something to my adorable daughter-in-law, just know that I won't forgive you for it. Do you understand?
Yes, but, actually, goodbye.
Okay then, bye, Santina. Nice seeing you again. Mother-in-law, we just arrived at the station. What happened to my mother? She already went home. What? I told her that I was the one who was going to pay for the home loan. I said that if she was going to be moving in, then it must mean that she was going to pay off the loan with me, and that I was so grateful for it. That's when she panicked and fled. You see, Santina's the kind of person that easily backs off when she sees that she's not going to benefit from a situation. I see. I think I know what you mean. But I'm impressed. Father-in-law said that my mother was your servant back in high school or something, but it looks like that was true. He told you that, but I told him to keep it a secret. I assure you, Melissa, I'm not proud of the person I was back in high school. I've put it all behind. Anyways, I think I know where she got the stuff about me tending fields in the province or protecting a grave or something. So I told her about that as well, and I assured her that it wasn't me. That's my former sister-in-law, by the way. Oh, and it won't do if you run into her on your way home, so take a taxi, all right? Okay, I understand. I doubt she's going to bother us again, seeing how scared she was, but tell me just in case she does bother you, all right? I will. Thanks for your help. By the way, I bought these roll cakes you like from the department store. Oh, thanks. I also bought you something. Coffee beans grown in the place we went to, because I know you love coffee. Oh, thank you. Why don't the four of us sit down for a snack once you two get home? All right, mother-in-law. On my way home in the taxi, I saw someone that looked like my mother on her way to the station. She was wearing these really flashy clothes and was walking so fast that it was obvious she wanted to get away from our house as soon as possible. My mother-in-law told us about what happened when me and my husband got home and the four of us sat down for some cake and coffee. It seems like this isn't the first time my mother-in-law has saved the day. And her face went red when my father-in-law told us about other such episodes. Apparently, a few days later, my mother appeared at our old house where the three of us used to live. It seems like she thought that my father still lives there, and she spammed the doorbell shouting something about how she wanted to get back together. The woman who lives there now opened the door, thinking it must be some sort of lover of the person who previously lived there. She screamed as well, and there was a huge fight, my mom getting multiple slaps on the face. The police were called to the scene, and my mother was forced to pay all sorts of alimonies and reimbursements or other such bills. After that, some relatives of hers grabbed her by the neck and forced her to return to her hometown in the province. She now works from day to night every day, as she was now in debt after paying off all those bills she had to pay.